Welcome to the Heat versus the World podcast. And now, stand up and make some noise for your host, Joel Jacob.
Yeah. Y'all already know what the name of the show is. Welcome back to another episode of Heat versus the World. As always, I'm your host, Joel Jacob. And with me, I'm joined by Deem, Kevin, Lola, and Kay. And we're here for another episode of Heat versus the World and talk about the Miami Heat, I guess. Basically, if y'all
are you
didn't
laying
know,
on a couch, Joel? What's going on? Are
I'm
you seeing
sorry.
a therapist right now? What's going on, man?
I don't got the energy for this, man. But I still said let's just record anyways. So I'm out here doing my best, but like the Miami Heat don't put me in a bad place right now. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for something to happen at this point because I just need this season to end. I'm gonna be completely honest. But
So
anyways,
Joel's just here so he don't get fined. Got it. Cool.
You already know. But anyways, in case y'all didn't hear, the Heat lost to the Hawks last night. And it was, well, you know what? Was it blowout? I didn't even watch the ending of that game. All I know is we was down by, like, I believe you said, K, like by 31 at one point. So there's that. And yeah, like this team looked mad sorry yesterday. A lot of insane things happened. And one crazy stat that I mentioned before the show even started was that our guys, our rotation, you got, who was it? It was Vincent, Hero, Struce, Martin, and Love. All five of those guys shot 2 of 16 from the field. I kid you not. On wide open shots, too. Could y'all even imagine that? And that's supposed to be the squad that we need to rely on to help this team win some games and apparently a championship. I don't know what the hell to make of this, man. I mean, it's so crazy because I honestly thought they would have actually won the game. Like, if y'all watched the last pod, me and Kay was on here, and I mean, I know Kay said, don't move things past Atlanta, but I was basically talking about a potential series between the Heat and Celtics, and now that ain't even gonna happen unless we play them in like what, the conference finals, if we even make it that far. Which, let's be freaking for real right now, that's probably not even reality. But who cares at this point? All I know is that everything happened last night, and it put me at a point where I'm just like, screw it. And I'm at a point where I just honestly want the season to end. It's like, and some people might hate that, because you always want to have hope and stuff. But it's kind of like when you got a dog, when you got a pet, and that thing is sick as hell. Like, you don't want to see it suffer, and you just want to get it put down. Like, that's how I feel with this team. I feel like it's time to put it down and then move on with life. So I don't know. Go get the 14th pick and then let's go from there. Aside from that, I want to hear what y'all got to say. So I'm gonna pass the mic to you first, Steve.
You couldn't pass the mic to a better person right now. I'm gonna keep it short right now because I want to hear what everyone else had to say because everybody know how I feel. But yeah, this team stinks. It sucks. What did everyone expected? I hope my optimistic friend K, I definitely want to hear his points because I don't see what he sees in this team. Last night was it showed what this team was all season long. It was 82 games of what this team was. So last night didn't it didn't really mean nothing to me. They couldn't shoot the ball well. That happened all 82 games of the season. They got out rebounded. That happened all 82 games of the season. Your supposedly star player, your second best player, he disappeared, which that happens probably 41 times of the season. All Heat fans, they all assumed that Miami was just going to blow the doors off of Atlanta, and Caleb Martin and what's the other guy, Gabe Vincent, was going to have Trey Young in Broward County jail cell, but that didn't happen. last night was horrible. We had Kyle Lowry, who me and him is probably the same height, 6 foot even, was on a 7-1 center. Like it's just ridiculous. The roster the construction of this roster is horrible, and it all goes back to the supposedly Godfather and Pat Riley. Remember in 2005 when we had Stan Van Gundy as the coach, and he fired Stan Van Gundy and he said, "I'm going to coach this team since I put such a horrible roster together." I wish he'd have did that shit last night. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to curse, but I wish he'd have did that last. I'm sorry, but I wish he would have did that. Not last night or even last or after the All-Star break, so he can see what Spo's been dealing with. You put this horrible roster together. You should have been the one to coach it. You gave Spo the horrible ingredients, and you wanted him to cook you a 5-star meal. But since you put the roster together, since you put the ingredients together, you should have been the one cooking this mess. Kay, you go ahead, man. I want to hear what Kay got to say.
Wow, I mean, brother just called me out, didn't he? Listen. I don't know how to follow that, Dean. Listen, bro. You right. I what can I say? I mean, I disagree with your the emphasis on your point of all 82 games. I disagree. But the premise of your point for the vast majority of the time is what you insinuate. I totally agree. My thing is this, man. They got to decide on who they are. Either they're going to play offense or they're going to play defense, but you can't suck on both sides every night. And what I mean by suck on both sides at the same time on any given night is if you're not going to play defense, which none of them really did a whole lot of early on in that game, especially not a ton later on, even though they did make a couple of runs where they were forcing the Hawks to miss a couple of shots. But the Hawks were just also missing. They had a couple of good defensive sequences laced in there. But like for the most part, nobody really played great on defense. And here's the thing. If you're not going to play great on defense, then your offense needs to show up. And for your top 6 guys, for only 3 of those guys to really show up, I know you want to point to Gabe Vincent's injury like late in the game, not you, but just people in general. I know they want to point to Gabe Vincent's injury late in the game, but up until that point, what the hell had he done? So when 3 of your top 6 guys aren't really giving you anything, and I don't really consider Bam's final stat line giving you anything because he had 4 to 6 of those points when the game was all but over, you're not going to win, especially if you're not performing on defense. If you're not allowing the other team to go off on you, then you have to keep up with them and outscore them. And you can't do that with half of your top guys not doing what they're supposed to do. There are guys on this team that you can look at, such as Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero, which we're going to get to, which everybody else has done, and saying that they didn't play any defense, but none of them played great defense. So that's the thing. Okay, that's a wash. Are we going to try to make more shots than they are? And that's what they tried to do, giving themselves a chance multiple times, pulling back to within 5. But everybody didn't come to do that. Everybody didn't come to execute that game plan. You can look at certain guys on the floor early on last night and and you literally were asking yourselves, does this mother want to be here right now? Because you couldn't figure it out. Listen, man, there's a fundamental problem with the team, and that is when one guy is going, the other guys aren't going. And people want to say that schematically. I think that's mental, and I'm not saying, one guy is soft, and I just think it's like a mental block or something, like the house party line. I think he got a mental. And it's not just the guy that everybody think I'm talking about. Everybody works that way. They can't seem to get everybody on the same accord at one time when it matters the most. Now, when they can, they're able to play with anybody. But I can't come on here today and say that they're going to do that, especially after what we saw on Tuesday.
I mean,
wait. Mm-hmm. This is where I disagree with. Well, I'm not going to say I disagree with you, but the thing is, this team just doesn't mesh together. That's why when one guy is on,
and not to cut you off, but that may be that thing I'm talking about. Not to cut you off, but the guy, what you gonna say? Go ahead, please.
No, but that's I'm kind of agreeing with you. It's like when one guy is clicking and doing everything, or 2 guys clicking and missing and doing everything, the 2 other supposedly stars are not. So it's like we need 2 guys to play bad for our 2 guys to play great. Why is that? It's not. I'm not going. I don't think it's coaching. I think it's just the roster was just it's not fitting. They didn't fit together, and everyone want to say, well, last year we were a Jimmy Butler 3 away from making the finals. And you're wrong. Where was it? We wasn't. Like it's not. We just wasn't. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have these problems today.
I was leaving the floor open. I mean, I could go, but I wanted to hear everybody else's thoughts on like what's the meshing issue? Like, why? You know what I mean? Why are we like? Is there a messing issue to everybody else, or is that just something like me and Deem saying? You know what I mean? Not to jump on Joel. You know I can talk.
Right. Does anyone want to step in?
Yeah, I was gonna say it. To me, like, yeah, obviously it's a clear meshing issue, but we also need dudes that can help fix that outside of them 2 dudes. Cause I think, a lot of people were kind of going crazy when Jimmy was getting all them assists to Cody Zeller, however many games ago that was, and they were saying, why can't he do this with Bam and blase, blah. But to me, it's just like both of them are obviously hesitant to shoot most times, right? Jimmy don't really care in the regular season. Bam, I've been saying, to me, he's way too over-reliant on that mid-range jumper. I would love to see him just attack the rim like he did once upon a time ago, way back when, however long ago he used to attack the rim. And I'm not, like, to me, I feel like they can make this work. Again, the surrounding core and the surrounding cast is just, it's not doing it. Like, to me, they look like a JV team that forced a bunch of the freshmen to just come up and play because they couldn't find any other talent. You know what I'm saying? That's how they look to me personally. And I don't know how the hell they fix this, but when you have 2 really good players, it's basketball, bro. At the end of the day, it's simple. Like, a lot of stuff doesn't mesh well, but you can make it work. Spo is a genius at making it work. And so far, it's worked in a lot of cases, and it hasn't in some other, especially this year, just hasn't worked to the way it's supposed to. But I think the main reason because of that is because a lot of dudes have regressed. Max Strus's shooting is not there. Gabe Vincent, for being honest, is not a starting point guard on any other team in the NBA. Like, the list goes on and on and on. So to me, it's not even about those 2 specifically, even though, yeah, they played bad, just as bad as everybody else did yesterday. It's about filling out the rest of this roster with competent talent that can do more than just one thing on the basketball court.
Right. And all I gotta say is this, is that I just wish we didn't have a team that was just addicted to all these undrafted players, the way how it is with Miami, because it's like watching someone get addicted to painkillers, because you just at the point where Miami is so addicted that they're now at a point where they're beginning to suffer from it. They're beginning to see the consequences of being so hooked to it. And we've seen how it's paid off for the Heat. Barely anything good has happened for the squad this year, especially when you got like 9 to 10 players that are all undrafted, because I just don't get it. And I know another person that has a lot to say about this team is none other than Lola from our Culture Shock podcast. Make sure y'all check it out. So I want to hear, Lola, what's on your mind?
So everyone mentioned roster construction issues, and I completely agree with that. We had the same issues last year, aside from us having PJ, and that helped with Bam a lot. But we also had all these undrafted players playing way above their skill level year after year. And, like this year, they plateaued right back to where they were supposed to be. And that's why you see the consequences of that is that we have no bench production. We're relying heavily on guys like Bam and Jimmy to score, and Tyler as well. And, we've seen it all season. Like, we've seen this team be bipolar and just not good all season. So it's like to come in, and we're in the play-in. So to come into this point and expect us to just beat teams, it's like this team is so up and down. Their energy is up and down. Like, and we've seen that all season, and we saw it last night. Like, they came to the game with such low energy when this is supposed to be a must-win game. You're supposed to bring your all to this. And they came in like it was some regular season game that they were supposed to play. Literally no energy on defense, no effort. Like, this team was never a great team. We just had so much effort and so much like running around and just getting to the ball and trying to get rebounds and trying to scrap for more. And that's what made this team great in the past. It was never about, like aside from the big 3 years, like the recent teams, it has never been about how great our roster was. It was about the effort that we give, the defense that we play, the muck that we bring on the defensive end, and all of that works so well in the playoffs when the game slows down. And we did not bring none of that. Like for instance, with Trae Young, like our whole game plan has always been to make it extremely uncomfortable for him. He was so comfortable last night. He could get to wherever he wanted on the court. He could get the ball to anyone that he wanted on the team. If you let Trae play like that all game, what do you think is going to happen? He's a really good playmaker. He's going to get all his guys going. And once all of them gets going, it's like, it's so hard to stop them on the defensive end. But anyways, yeah, it's just like energy and focus and everything else that wasn't there. I mean, I'm not saying we're a great team, but we can beat the Atlanta Hawks. Like, we beat them. It's just they had no energy. They had no focus. Bam was saying post-game that they weren't feeding him the ball. Like,
oh, I'm tired of hearing that.
Not like, dude, like you're a friend, like you're supposed to be our franchise player. You demand the ball. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm done giving this man excuses when it comes to the offensive end. Defensively, he did great. So I'm not saying he didn't impact the game at all. Like, I think he did great on the defensive end. Like you guys said, like on the defensive end, none of these players showed up. Like, Max literally played 23 minutes and only scored 3 points, and we know he can't play defense. So Bam did have to cover for all of them. And I can understand people saying he spent so much energy on the defensive end and all of that, but he has had great games on offensive side and still played good defense. Like, we're not going to act like he can't do both. And if you're our franchise player, you have to demand the ball. You cannot score 12 points in 41 minutes. That's never going to be excusable to me. So I'm not going to say Bam was horrible last night, because he did play really good defense. Like, outside of him, I really didn't see anyone else play good defense. So I'm not going to say he played a horrible game, but you cannot score 12 points in 41 minutes in a very important game that could literally decide the whole playoff, seeding and all of that. Like, it's such an important game. And for you to only score 12 points and people are looking at you to be the guy.
Well, maybe he's just
future
not that guy. Bro, this is what year?
That is, but like that.
How many years?
I agree. I've never thought he was that guy, but like,
no, but I'm just asking. Now I'm asking, how many years he's been in the NBA? 6 years, right?
Right.
He's on a max contract, correct? We look at him as our second star for the championship run, correct? Why is it that players always have to force him the ball? No, you get your ass down there on the block. Put your hand up and say, "Give me the ball. Demand the ball. Get a rebound." It's not that. It's like, bro, it pisses me off that it's like he got to go do a pick and roll, and then they canceled them out on Atlanta did a great job canceling them out on them, but denying him them rolls. But listen, when you have the DeJounte Murray, Jalen Johnson, Trae Young, anybody that's under 6'7", you put them on your hip, put your hand up and say, "Yo, give me that effing ball. Make the team want to give you the ball." I guarantee you, Jokic, DeMarcus Cousins, Joel Embiid, Giannis, none of those guys have that problem. Why is it that Bam is?
Because he's not confident. He's not confident. Because he's not confident in his offense as far as ISOs and them go. Like,
be a max player then. Well, if he's not comfortable in his offense, then he just need to go then.
Well, because when you first of all, he's on his rookie max, not an actual max contract. But we getting Bam the max, not just for his offense, but for his defense as well. He's a two-way player. So it's not like you just look at. And he's literally our defense. He's our anchor. So
he is our anchor. He is our defense. But let me make this more clear. If he's not comfortable and confident in his offensive ability, then he's not our second best player. We're never going to win a championship with him as our number 2. Like, it's like, so we might have to get that out of our heads. He has to play better on the offensive end. There's no more excuses. Yes, he did a lot on the defensive end, but he wasn't great on the defensive end. No, he was not great on the defensive end. I've seen way better games from Bam on the defensive side of the ball. So no, I'm not going to say he was great. He was just as bad as everyone else.
Yeah, but think about it. Like as far as role players go, like outside of Kyle, no one showed up.
No, you're right. We had the bench scored what 10 points. I'm not counting. I'm not counting
Not
Kyle
because
as a bench.
yeah, if you
As a bench guy, he was a starter last night. He just came off the bench. I'm not counting him as a bench
13
guy.
points outside of the 4 guys.
Bro, so my point exactly. And another guy who's supposed to be a sharpshooter making 17 million played 0 minutes last night.
No. We're gonna put the smoke back on Max because you're not gonna start
Max
get 24 minutes.
Max was also bad. Tyler was.
But
also
why did
bad.
he start though? Like, can we really get a discussion why Max even started to begin with?
Bro,
why was that decision being made?
You know why was that? Because
you know Caleb can guard Trey better than Max.
I want to tell you why, bro. Spo looked down. He looked at the roster. He grabbed that paper and said, "What else do I have? Nothing."
Nah, you had Caleb. Like I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna give Spo a pass on that because you had Caleb and you could have started Caleb.
Did you not see Caleb play?
I'm not even talking about offense though. I'm talking about defense. He should have been the one guarding Trey. And if we started Caleb and gave him minutes every single time Trey came in, that would have been the best thing for us. What did Max do? You put Max in there so he could be our 3-point shooter. Man scored 1 3 the whole game. Like, we're not gonna know. Spo is not getting a pass for this. Why was the decision there to start Max?
Because once again, Spo looked at his roster sheet and said, "I have nothing."
Max been ass all season, so I don't want to hear nothing. Max been ass all season. He should have not started Max. He should have been like Kay said. You have to prioritize defense or offense, right?
But they both were. Listen, offense and defense, they both was bad last night. Like both of them was bad. You know why?
Yeah, because you had Tyler and Max out there at the same time. Like, what are you expecting? You can't have 2. Like, this is why the roster construction, again, like, on this front, it's not Spo's fault. It's the roster construction. You can't have 2 whites on the court at the same time, especially when all our whites can't play defense. Like, you just can't. That's 2 out of 5 players on the court that any team could target at all times.
But you know who couldn't play defense either? Kyle Lowry. And Kyle Lowry played 33 minutes, and he also was a cone on defense. But out of the other guys, you said he is the one who's more smart on the defensive end. Like he knows what to do. He just can't. He's just not capable of playing defense no more. But I'm trying to explain the reason why Trey Young also had a good game last night is because the Atlanta Hawks' new head coach, he's not no dummy. Quinn Snyder is also a capable head coach. He's also another great head coach. So his game plan was to get the ball out of Trey Young's hands quicker and move him around. And it worked. Like it literally worked. That's exactly why you had all these. That's why Miami lost the rebound battle by 30 because you had Bam guarding the perimeter and had Trey Young. I mean, not Trey Young. What's number 14? Number 14, Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry and all these other guys on a block, which was like it was a horrible decision, but it was nothing. Spo hands was handcuffed. Like he couldn't do nothing. Like it was what it was. No matter what, it was going to be a mismatch.
But what if they were making it way harder on Trey? Like so much more ball pressure. Like it would have. I feel like it would have changed the game because he was doing whatever he wanted. He was playmaking out there.
Listen, I agree with Sha put in the private chat. I'm not going to say the word because I done cursed like 3 times already. But if people who can't see it, I'm going to tell you what she said at 5:59. Sha said, "All them undrafted bleeps have to go," and I couldn't be more.
They should have got rid of them in during the trade deadline.
Bro,
like
all the issues,
never got them at all.
All the issues we're talking about go back to the same thing, bro. The roster just isn't good. If you put Caleb in, you're not gonna have a defense playing honest for a 3-point shooter. You put Max in, you're gonna have a little bit more spacing offensively, but you're gonna get fried defensively. Like it's give and take no matter where you go. So is like, again, that's why anybody putting
Yes,
blame
he
on Spo is
was.
kind of crazy to me, because it's like he can't do anything, bro. Any route he goes is ugly for us regardless. And so Pat Riley, he deserves all that smoke, all the vapor, because it's
Look,
bad right now, bro. Like,
look,
it's
speaking of Pat
bad.
Riley, I just got a quick question. Like, it's matter of fact, I'm gonna ask later on. I'm gonna ask before we leave. Next, go ahead. Next,
Oh,
I'm
let me get a word in, bro. Like, it's been so much said, and I was just letting y'all have the floor because, like, y'all was, you know what I mean? Y'all was in it, so I ain't want to, you know what I'm saying, jump in. But it was so much said there, and I'm gonna try to hit everything as best I can, as quickly and concise as possible. But first of all, on the undrafted situation, look, I feel you. I on today after Tuesday night, I can't contest that. Like, I can't refute that. I'm not gonna try because, like, I can't win that right now. However, what I will say is that's the way that the Miami Heat have always gotten it done, and we're just not seeing that. And to Lola's point, like, effort and intensity is about what it is, but that's what defense is all the while. Like, you could be the worst, like, no nuance, non-skill, non-athletic, like, guy in the world, but if you try hard, you could be a serviceable guy on defense. That's first thing. Second thing, when you look at, like, those undrafted guys, the Miami Heat get success out of them a lot of times. And then there are years where it just doesn't.
okay, quick question.
Go ahead.
How long? How long do they get good value out of these undrafted guys? And we can go all the way back to 08. How long has they gotten good value out of these undrafted guys?
Well, I'll tell you this. So they were able, like, even if you're looking at it, like, from the perspective of, like, we looked at some of these deals early, like, as trade fillers. Like, I mean, you could look at the boy that came out of Tyler Johnson or whatever. They end up using him to flip him. I mean, you're asking value. You're asking value.
Go ahead.
They end up, like, even if you look, and I was also going to whip my pointer background for you through a whip in there. Undrafted guys and trash heap guys. So I'm going to answer your question, but I'm also keep it going. I mean, of course, you look at Duncan. He's sitting on the bench right now. When you look at shaking up the undrafted situation, Max is probably going to be gone after this season. And I think that has that I'm not going to put, like, insinuation on nobody, but that might have something to do with why Spo's, like, giving him so much rope. It's like, yo, we want to keep you, but I don't think they should or going to be able to. I think you're going to end up having to choose between him and Gabe. And if you're choosing, I think you choose Gabe. But that's another decision because you guys are saying ship out all the undrafted guys. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's how they've traditionally done it. Because you look at guys like Orlando Robinson and Jamal Cain that are coming in to the pipeline next year, and they're going to be one or two more guys next year that we're going to be like, you know, okay, they're going to be on the roster in some form of fashion, whether you're talking about a Jamal Bouye, whether they bring Drew Smith back, or whether there's another guy. Heck, bring Micah Potter
So
back
if we're getting rid of Max after this play and whatever happens from here, like, why give him minutes? Like, I don't get that.
Because they have no one else to turn to.
That I agree, but, like, he said that's why, and I was like, why would that be the reason why?
I disagree, but I'm saying they're trying to sway him. I said if I had a choice, but I said before that, I think they're trying to keep
Man, if you're swaying a bum undrafted player, like, you're down horrendous.
Well, no, they're looking at the projected market.
But, like, so I only have one question before Kate keeps going because I feel like his point wasn't done and I interrupted him. But, like,
he was
so why did the Miami Heat continue to hold on to these undrafted guys way beyond when they should trade them? Because that's our problem. It's not that we don't get these undrafted guys and they end up hitting gold. We do hit gold with these undrafted players. We just hold on to them. We just hold on to them too long. If we just trade them when they're at their peak, we would be hitting, bro. We would be getting so many different picks and players out of them, but we hold on to them until their value is literally zero. Hence Duncan and Max, because honestly, his value is shit at this point. Like, it's just like, why do we keep doing this? And that is my only problem with the organization. I don't mind the undrafted guys as long as you're willing to let them go when their value is at their peak, because we all know that shit comes back down. Like, they don't play at this level forever. They're just playing way above their skill level and everything else for a short amount of time before it hits that plateau. So trade them while their value is up. Like, if you do that, I have no problem with the organization going for these guys. It's literally low risk, high reward at that point.
So, all right, as far as that goes, that's a catch-22. I hear you. And you could do that. But that goes to another point I wanted to make when we talk about the Miami Heat and how they go about their roster construction. Like you guys know, like I know, and me and Kev was having this conversation offline earlier. The Miami Heat don't ever tank. They're always trying to win. And when you're always trying to compete, you're not going to have the assets. You're not going to have the top picks. So you're going to have to go to these ancillary sources to bring in serviceable guys. Even look back to the Big Three era where the roster was full of guys who other guys might have thought was past their prime. We're talking to Mike Millers. We're talking to Shane Battiers. We're talking to Rashard Lewis's. We're talking to Warden. We're talking guys like that. So this isn't strange or foreign to how the Miami Heat have done it. And again, it's all hit or miss. And I understand the gripes. Like they're not true. They're not rational, not logical. But at the same time, it's just like, I'll give you an example. Yes, if we trade Hassan Whiteside at the peak of his situation, right? You might can get something back for him. But other teams have treated him now, even when he's giving you doubles in 15 minutes, like he's been like, a piece of trash. It's like, is that gonna transfer to another team? And maybe we're overvaluing what they would bring back on the open market. But then there's also this, like, are you going to get more value back than what you hope that they can give you? Because what they're showing you in their time there is so valuable that you think you're going to get a massive haul. Don't you look like a fool for trading that and then being deficient? And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm saying that might be the scenario we're facing.
But
Now,
see, that's a risk you got to take. That's
But I
right.
feel like-
You gotta take.
But it's
feel like
also on one side.
Because you're taking the risk on Duncan Robinson and you miss. You're taking the risk on all these guys and you're missing.
I feel
So
like
every
once you
player is a
miss with,
risk you
I
have to
feel like
really take.
I get why they decided to keep Duncan. I don't completely agree with the contract, but I kind of get why they kept Duncan because he worked so well with Bam, and they needed a 3-point shooter, and he was the best you could get on the market. And honestly, the market for 3-point shooters at that time was around the value that we got him for. It's just the years was kind of messed up. But aside from that,
Market, there you go.
I get why they did that with Duncan. I completely understand. But once you saw what happened to Duncan, you would think once they got almost the same thing out of Max, that they would have. I'm not saying we're gonna get a huge haul out of Max, but I'm saying once you saw Max become what Duncan was, you would think they would know better this time and do what needed to be done because they already learned with Duncan. They're not learning from their mistakes. They keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And that's my only issue with that. Like, honestly, I don't mind the undrafted players as long as because I believe in the Heat. The Miami Heat are one of the best. We got one of the best developmental team out there. Like, I know what we can do, but that shit is not
believe in
sustainable.
That's what I believe in.
The reason it's not sustainable though is because undrafted players can work, and obviously they've worked for us in the past. But the reason that it hasn't worked with this group is that while you're dealing with these undrafted players, you have to lay a foundation and find someone that you can build up off and be the future of your franchise. And right now, obviously, we look at Bam and we look at Tyler, but neither one of them guys are like Bam. I could see it makes a lot of sense. I know he's looked at as like, the next guy, right? But even then, it's like, bro, the undrafted players should be asked to just piece holes together. That's it. Right now, we're asking all these dudes we're asking Gabe Vincent to be a starting point guard in the NBA, bro. Like, if you ask the average NBA fan, I guarantee you they have no idea what school Gabe Vincent went to, or Max Strus for that reason. And that's the biggest issue, bro, is that they have to be important just like any member of a team is. Everybody plays their role, but they can't be a significant piece of your roster. How many undrafted players in the league right now are playing major minutes for a playoff team? It's not too many.
Not many.
And that's the problem, is that they just have to evolve, bro. That's all it comes down to. Like, again, you can still have these undrafted players. There's nothing wrong with that, but you can't rely on them to play these major roles. They should be able to come in during the regular season and give you meaningful minutes here and there, but they shouldn't be asked to go into the playoffs and go in a TD Garden and win a Game 7 situation or Game 6 situation. Like, that's just not what it should be, bro. And that's the problem, is that they keep asking all these dudes, like Lola said, to be way better than they're supposed to be, and that's just not the case, bro. They have a short lifespan for a reason, and it's because sometimes undrafted dudes are undrafted for a reason, bro. They just weren't that good to get drafted, and sometimes you'll hit, but at the same time, again, bro, find your foundation pave that, and these undrafted players should come in and add on to that little by little, but they shouldn't be a majority ever anymore, bro. The league is way too talented for that.
For real. They're
So what
literally
y'all
our
saying-
foundation.
So hold on. So what y'all saying is y'all would have the Heat bottom out. Y'all would have the Heat tank and suck every couple of years to lay that
No,
foundation.
that's
Hold
not
on,
what
hold on.
No.
Let me finish,
See, that's
let me
what they-
finish.
See,
Let me
that's
finish,
what
let me
they
finish.
should. Honestly, when they have a down year, when they have a down year, yeah, go ahead.
So, like, because the only way you're going to be able to, if you're constantly trying to win, you're always going to be where the Heat are, which is in that 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 range. And even that is hit or miss. Because, like I said, it's a gift for the Miami Heat to be able to constantly do what they do with picks in that range, first of all. But what I'm saying, hold on. I got you. What I'm saying is when you're constantly trying to win, you aren't asset latent. So if you aren't asset latent, you have to get creative because you're constantly just trying to plug and find and figure because you didn't suck bad enough last year to gain all of the assets or the asset that can turn into a lot of assets. But at the same time, you were trying to win, so you had to find meaningful, useful pieces. It's like the way that they do it, it isn't conducive to what you're saying. And if you're asking for that, and I'm not saying this right or wrong, I'm just painting a realistic picture for you because that's why they consistently go to the undrafted, the scrap heap, the, oh my God, this guy was in Taiwan for a couple years. Now he can come do his thing in the league. I mean, that's why they do that. It's because they're constantly trying to win. Teams that have those, like, look at the teams you guys are talking about. These are tell me a team that hasn't bottomed out or like had top draft picks and are doing what you guys are saying do. And if you can tell me one, I'll shut the hell up. I promise.
Bro, Toronto Raptors.
They play 6 dudes, bro.
I'm talking.
They play 6 dudes.
Listen,
Wait,
bro,
no, I kind of disagree with what Kay's saying because if they really wanted to add to this roster, they could have done it at the trade deadline. They could have done it
yes.
at the offseason.
Okay. Tell me how.
didn't.
Tell me how. Tell me
They
how.
had a pick. They had a pick to use. They did not believe in this. They did not believe in this team from jump. They wanted to wait it out. They did not want to use their pick this year. They wanted to wait it out this year. If they really wanted to get crazy, they could have. Is my point. Like they could have done things. Like it's not like they had nothing. They had no assets. They had a pick. They could have used it and got a serviceable role player.
So what would you have had them tell me who you would have had them bring back?
Jeremy Grant. Get him. You didn't think he would have helped?
I don't think you think that pick alone would have gotten Jeremy Grant because I don't.
Didn't Jeremy Grant go for like a player in a first round pick?
You still
And
haven't
maybe
given
a
me
second round pick.
anybody. Like I don't do
I don't remember.
hypotheticals. You got to be able to give me something real. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of conversation is hypothetical, and I try to stay logical in what we really can see. It's like you said, Jeremy Grant, and they don't have the assets to get Jeremy Grant. Plain and simple. That pick alone wouldn't have gotten him. And if Portland traded him, fire everybody in the building because they stupid. But what I'm telling you is like you have to be realistic with this thing. We acting like this the trade machine, and it ain't.
Yeah.
No.
Like, we gotta
I'm not
be
acting like it's
realistic.
the trade machine. What I'm saying is, it was pieces out there Miami could have did. I'm not just going back to this season. I'm going back to just in general. Just period. The front office made some bad decisions overall. Now I'm not talking about just last
And
year.
I agree with
I'm not
that. I
talking
agree with
about the
that.
year
I'm not
before that.
disagreeing with that at all.
I'm just saying in general, because yes, it's teams out there who have not been in great position, i.e. the Milwaukee Bucks. They didn't draft high. Yes, they have a generational player in Giannis, but that's neither here nor there because Miami.
Whoa, you can't
also
just
has a
say
great
neither here nor
player.
there when you're talking about Giannis. You can't
Yeah,
do that.
I know, but
Can't do that.
yeah, but listen, Jimmy Butler's not. He's not no bum. He's not a stir fry. He's also a great player. He might not be better than Giannis, but he's a good player. I mean, we can go down the list. We can go to the Western Conference. Utah years back, they never had a top 5 pick. Utah had never bottomed out. I mean, it's possible. You have to be willing. All these undrafted guys, they're not necessary. We can go all the way back to guys who got who got money out of Miami. And where are they now? Where are the Deion Waiters at now? We don't hear from him. He's not in the NBA. Where is James Johnson at now? We gave him a contract, Where is he now? Who team he played for? No one knows. Tyler Johnson. I mean, the list can go on and on and on. This is becoming a habit with Pat Riley. He gets these undrafted guys. They work for cheap labor. They're so great, and then we give them a contract. And what happened? They go back to why. This is why they were undrafted. Pat Riley has been given crappy teams over and over and over again. Just because he's a great head coach and the development team is pretty good, and they get little bites of greatness out of these undrafted guys, and they think that they're doing something. No, yes, the Heat culture is a real thing. It works, but it needs to be retooled. We can't keep banking on 1999 and 2006 Heat culture. No, the culture can still be here, but it has to be retooled. All these undrafted guys, it has not been working. The last 5 years of this team has not worked. Yes, we went to the NBA Finals. We lost. We don't hang banners in Miami for making an appearance in the NBA Finals. Like, come on, let's be for real.
Real quick. The Portland Trailblazers have acquired Jeremy Grant and the draft rights to Ismail Kamagate from the Detroit Pistons in exchange for draft rights to Gabriel Procida, 2025 first-round draft pick, 2025 second-round draft pick, and 2026 second-round draft pick. You don't think we could beat that?
I don't
Be
think
real.
that. I don't think that the Miami Heat would have. I don't think that they would
what
have.
Are you joking me?
Because if they would have,
I can't beat that. This is literally scraps and a first-round pick.
But
And you don't think? No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this today.
They probably could have beat that, but was Pat
They
Riley
could've.
willing
No,
to do
it's
that?
not. They could have. They didn't even go.
They
could have.
answer this question. Would Pat Riley have done that?
I don't know. Because
I don't know.
honestly, nowadays, I don't know what Pat Riley be doing, all right? Other than sleeping. I really don't know.
But see, listen, here's the thing. Traditionally, over the course of the franchise, he hasn't done that. That's not what he does. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
What is not how he operates?
He's not going to deem what he pays as an overpay. He's not.
A first-round pick and bunch of scraps for Jeremy Grant is an over.
But he over.
Yo, we got these guys.
Robinson.
These
But
guys are
you have to. You went and you got Jimmy, and you told Jimmy that you're gonna bring him a roster that can compete for a championship. You promised him that shit. So you have to overpay where you gotta overpay to make that shit happen. You can't just be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Jimmy's so many more years. Like, you can't just like we can't just keep going through this like where okay we are competing for a championship, but we can't go all the way in because of this and that. Like, no, you either go all the way in with Jimmy or you go all the way out and trade Jimmy. Like, I'm tired of this shit. Like, we're stuck in the middle year after year after year for no reason. Like, why do we do this? Like, there's no point of it. That's why, like, when people are like, oh, you don't want to tank, if tanking is what's needed to win a championship, do that. But now we have Jimmy on the team, and you have to decide, you want to go all in on Jimmy or you want to go all out and trade Jimmy, because you're at this point you're just wasting the man's time.
Exactly.
He's wasting your time.
Bro, listen. Look, all I'm saying is the Knicks is better than us. That's all I gotta say.
And with that,
Knicks
I just
better
want to say
than us.
real quick is that, to me, bro, like, we all got to be realistic here, right? The Heat could tell us all day, all season long that the goal is to win championships, which obviously it should be. You play to win championships, right?
But we ain't no dummies.
Every year, that's not realistic, bro. Like, it's just not. I think we can all agree on that. And my biggest thing with that is, sometimes I don't even care if we were a middle of the pack team, dog. When we went to the finals in 2020, we were the 4th or 5th seed. So it's like, that really don't even matter to me. The talent gap between the top teams in the NBA right now in the middle of the pack is not that different, bro. That's the thing, is that you can capitalize on any given opportunity. And so with that, it's like, you could bottom out here and there. I don't mind that, but it's also just like, bro, I just want to watch competitive basketball. And right now, what we watched last night was not that at all. Like, I don't even care if we win or lose, but to me, it's a way to go. Even when you lose, it's a proper way to lose, bro. Last night, that stuff was not it at all. Like Lola said, it was no energy, it was no heart, it was no fight. Those should be like bare minimum requirements when dudes is making $1 million to play a game. I think
But
we can
Kev,
all
wouldn't
agree
you
on that.
say that they've been doing that all season? Like as far as energy
Yeah,
goes.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not even just trying to single out this game. This is the entire season. This is why, like, I'm not surprised that this happened because they've been showing us this entire season. So I'm just saying is that, bro, Pat Riley, you just got to evolve, bro. Like, that's all it comes down to. You can't be stuck in your old ways because that's been shooting us in the foot for the past 4 to 5 years now. Like, it looked good in 2020. Obviously, it looked good last year, but bro, like, I'm looking at all these other teams. Bro, the Bucks got significantly better just adding Drew Holiday, and they pieced
Yes.
and guys
Yeah.
around him. The Hawks got better adding DeJounte Murray. Cleveland clearly got better adding Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks added Jalen Brunson. We laughed at it for a second,
And
and now look
Julius
at them
Randle.
right now.
And Julius Randle.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, again, Kyle Lowry was a cool addition. I'm not gonna sit here and say anything about him right now, but it's just like, bro, we haven't done anything to get significantly better. It don't even gotta be significant. Even the Celtics are the perfect example, bro. They have 2 stars in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You know what they did? They pieced around the right players around them. They got Derek
Yes.
White, they got Malcolm Brogdon, and it's little moves like that. That's what I want to see. I want competent role players that know how to make things happen. I don't want to go in games worrying about what is Max Strus going to do tonight? What is Gabe Vincent going to bring tonight? What is Caleb Martin going to do tonight? I want certified role players like shout out to Uncle Jeff Green, who's been doing it for a long ass time. Even though he's old as hell, he had an open heart surgery. You still know he's going to help the Nuggets win somehow. You know what I'm saying? It's things like that. Like, we don't have that, bro. We go into every game worried about who is going to step up tonight because you can't just rely on Jimmy and you can't just rely on Bam. And that's a problem, bro. It's too much talent in the NBA right now to be just singly reliant upon your star duo, bro. Point blank, period.
Hey, Kev, you know who we're relying on now? Cody Zeller. I never seen. No, seriously though. I never seen a fan base get moved by Cody Zeller. Bro. Cody Zeller have a good game. He scored 8 points and 4 rebounds. Oh my God, Cody Zeller did this, bro. Like, come on, man. This is what this. And then y'all sit here and tell us we're spoiled. No, we're being excited about Cody Zeller scoring 8 points and grabbing 4 boards. It's like, come on, man. Let's be for real.
Yo, so we've been all over the place. Jeez. Does anyone else got something they want to say, or
Can we just
move on?
give a quick shout out to Kyle Lowry, my Canadian brother, for scoring 33 points last night? You know, a lot of people on the timeline was hating on my brother. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you've been hating all season. Like, I'm just saying, like, Kyle showed up when it mattered. Okay, I don't care what he did all season. He showed up when it mattered in a big way.
Yeah, shout out to Kyle, but whatever. now he has to lose to either his best friend DeMar DeRozan or his, the team.
But it's good in a way because his value, like, I'm sure teams are looking at him after he scored them 33 points. Because he gotta get traded after this. In the offseason, Kyle's getting traded. So I don't know if this
For who?
I don't know, but he's gonna be in that package because his contract needs to be used.
I hope so.
We're not talking about off-season trade packages right now, but yeah, I think it's good for. I think it's good for his value. That's all I'll say.
But let's see. I feel like we talked a lot. Is there anything else y'all want to say before we close this out?
I'll just say real quick. I hate to say this because I've never said anything like this in my 24 years of existence, but I really hope they lose this next game. Not even because I'm worried about the Bucks or anything like that, but just because I'm tired of watching this, bro. Like,
literally,
it's not good basketball. It's not conducive basketball. And honestly, right now, like, this is an even broader subject, but the NBA right now as a whole, the basketball is not good. The Heat literally just happen to be one of the worst examples. So they got to get it together, man, because right now
No.
bad.
But not only that, we don't want to watch them play. Like, yo, go lose and get that 14th pick, because I am afraid of Bucks and I don't think we could beat them. So just go get the pick. Like, go get that 14th pick. We could get another Bam or Tyler out of the draft. Like, it's a stacked draft. Like, it makes no sense. It makes 0 sense to win this upcoming game. There's no point. You're going to face the Bucks and lose. Like, I'm sorry, but that's what's just going to happen. Like, they've already shown us over and over again who they are, and they're nowhere near Milwaukee's level. So it's just like, just lose, get that 14th pick, and get us another Bam or Tyler. Like, that's all I want. And free Victor Oladipo.
Oh my. Oh.
Oh no, I'm gonna say this, man. It's been a lot of hoping to lose, but I mean, maybe it's the age gap between a lot of us, but between me and the rest of y'all. But I don't get down like that where I'm from, brother. Like, don't none of my people hope to lose. Like, we play to win. Like, that's just what we do. So, I mean, I want to see him keep going.
Right. And wait, before I hop on the mic, does anyone else got something they want to add? Last call.
Deem is clenching his fist right now, man. Pray for him.
I'm dead. Pray for Deem.
Yo, hashtag pray for Deem. Let's make that trend. But aside from that, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Heat versus the World podcast. We'll be back with another episode real soon. Either one of the following is gonna happen. We're gonna give y'all a breakdown of the Heat series against the Bucks if they win, or we're gonna film our season finale pod because the Heat decided to go to Cancun.
Damn!
It is what it is.
Or you can catch me. You can catch me on Biscayne Breakdown with some draft talk.
All right, that's
Uh-uh.
option. So
Culture Shock Pod, the best podcast on the planet. CLTRSHOCKPOD. Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, shout
Thank
out to
you.
Culture Shock.
Yes, sir. So yeah, shout outs to Culture Shock, shout outs to Biscayne Breakdown. Also, if you're a big Dolphins fan, make sure to check out Dolphins versus the World. More content is going to be coming out real soon with that. Make sure to check out all our shows. Make sure to follow Lola at EGY_Cole. Make sure to follow Kevin at Kevu. That's 2 O's. Let's see, Mufasa7. Make sure to follow K at K_said_K. And make sure to follow Deem at BLDeem. And aside from that, man, and also make sure to follow me on Twitter at JoeKJacob_. Make sure to follow Heat versus the World on all platforms at HVTW Podcast. We got a lot of stuff heading your way, and make sure to subscribe to that YouTube channel at Heat versus the World. And last but not least, make sure y'all also check out HVTW podcast.wordpress.com. We're gonna have a lot of great articles on there posted by none other than our guy K and a lot of our other contributors as well. But aside from that, man, it is what it is at this point. Who cares about this team? Go get the lottery pick and let's just move on with our lives. Let's have a great summer. And until next time, y'all, hit my music because we out.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time with a brand new episode of the Heat versus the World podcast.